Hi, I'm Alondra South, and welcome to my TED Talk. Okay, so what I just played for you is music, and this has been around for well, it's been around for 40,000 to 60,000 years. Think back to our earliest ancestors ever, the Neanderthals. The ancient bone flute was discovered.
Hang on, just pause for a second.
Okay.
I'm not sure what's going on here. Alondra, you may have to do this manually with the little arrow keys.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
So we'll go back here. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so think back to our earliest ancestors, Neanderthals, which was 40,000 to 60,000 years ago. And this bone flute was discovered, which is our earliest proof of an instrument. Now, to put this into perspective, Mesopotamia, our first human civilization ever, was 9,000 years ago, which I think is crazy, and it might imply that music predates human civilization itself. And it's kind of just this, like, part of us. Nowadays, music is even more prevalent with lots of streaming services, instruments, genres of music, and it can even be in your favorite types of medias. I don't know if you guys have seen this song, but the driving force of the emotion, I think, is in the music. And in this movie too, pretty popular, is Up. And of course, in Schindler's List, a very emotional movie, but we can feel a lot of emotions through this theme song. Now, since music is just everywhere, it makes us feel emotions, it makes us, I don't know, it has like this crazy reaction to humans. My question is, what effect does music have on cognition and mood? Because there has to be something there, right? Now, first of all, what is music? Music is human creative sound, and it can be like structured in many different ways. Usually it forms pitch, which is basically what note you're playing, tempo, which is like a beat, and then rhythm is something over tempo, like that kind of makes it different. And by movement, I just mean like the way you move your fingers or the way you move your vocal cord. Now, to play music, you have to use a lot of your brain. Now, this is all the parts of the brain. The occipital lobe controls our spatial awareness and our visual perception. The parietal lobe controls our sensory perception, understanding language, and math. The temporal lobe controls our memory, understanding, and language. And the frontal lobe controls our executive functions and our behavioral control. This kind of makes up who we are and our personality, how we think. And of course, the cerebellum controls our movements. But the interesting thing about music is when you're playing, you're simultaneously simulating all parts of brain, which I think is more unique than any other medium, even other arts. The cool thing about the brain is it impacts our cognition. Cognition is going to be how we interpret the world and based on our senses and our judgments. Our interpretation of the world can come through cognitive functions like perception, attention, memory, problem solving, decision making, language, visualization, and reasoning. And when we're playing music and practicing those parts in our brain, we're also practicing our cognition. Now, back to the brain. This is the cerebrum. The cerebrum is the largest part of our brain, and it has two sides. The left side, which is the analytical side, and the right side, which is our more creative side. These two parts of the brain are connected by the corpus callosum, which sends nerve signals across. The corpus callosum can be responsible for language processing, problem solving, reasoning, memory, and learning. And when we're playing music, musicians are actively using this. And in turn, it's increasing our neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the ease in which we learn and adapt. And when you're using this, you're actually making your neurons go across faster. Like for example, when you're playing music for that up song, you have to read the music, you have to time it out, you have to see how the harmonies overlay with each other, and it's just like a lot going on in your head on both sides of the brain. And this can help how we learn in other aspects of life too. It's like kind of a brain workout. Our myelin, which is like kind of what allows the ease between channels, is strengthened when you're playing music. Also, interestingly enough, different channels, neural pathways, are actually being made when you play music. And this can store a lot of memories. Now, since these neural pathways are being made with music, it's also storing different memories, which is why you might associate a certain memory with like a song. Like I know that those movies can kind of make you like remember things, or maybe you guys have a certain memory or something. Okay, musicians are 64% less likely to get dementia because you're strengthening these brain waves, and yeah, you're kind of I don't know, you're kind of storing different memory pathways. Do you guys have a favorite song or from a memory or movie? Because I know I do. When I listen to certain songs, I remember like me camping, I don't know, just doing all this stuff. And that's because like memories are stored differently when it's interacted with music. Now the gyrus. The gyrus is going to be these ridges on the brain, and they're everywhere. But this can control our processing speed. Specifically, the inferior frontal gyrus is strengthened by 6.27% while we're playing music. And this helps us to process music and sound, but also helps us to process the world around us and to process people's faces. And in turn, this can lead to things like empathy. When you're processing like people's faces, you'll obviously be more empathetic to them, but also processing like what they've been through, like having a more thorough understanding of people will give you more empathy. Because yeah, you just want to put yourself in other people's shoes. Emotionally aware increases social cognition. And yeah. Also, people, it's been shown in psychopaths that they usually have less gyrus and ridges like on the brain. So I don't know, you definitely want it for social cognition. Oh yeah, it was also shown in rats that it controls your motivation and your cause-benefit analysis. There was an experiment done with rats where their brain was studied by fMRI machines, and it shows that our gyruses motivate us to do things like getting out and getting food, and for the rats to go socialize with other rats so they can get food. I know that sounds kind of like shallow, but like in people, it might motivate you guys to do like your TED Talks and like, I don't know, just a lot of things. Okay. I've played music for a long time, and I really like it. I've noticed that I can have like a really tiring day, a stressful day, but anytime I went into music, like practice or whatever, I would always feel way better. And even when I was doing my TED Talk, like when I practiced my songs, it was like,
You can turn it down on the whiteboard.
yeah, I need to turn it down.
Yeah, that works too.
Yeah. So I've actually realized there's a scientific reason for this. It's because music induces your mood by raising your dopamine levels by 9 to 20%. And so I think this is really good. It also increases other neurotransmitters like serotonin, endorphins, which all just basically make you feel really good. And yeah, something sad. Oh wait. something sad is 21.4% of people in the United States suffer from depression, and this is basically just a deficit in dopamine. But it's been shown that when you play music, symptoms can be eased by 83%. And it doesn't really solve depression or like cure it, but it can be nice to like kind of alleviate some of that stress just because you're releasing so much dopamine, And yeah. Also, exercise is great for dopamine production too, but drugs is also like spikes your dopamine, but it's also not good because it'll spike it and then it'll just never recover to what it was and you'll keep having to take drugs. All right, music can also relax you. This is 440 hertz, our standard tuning in Western music of an A. But 432 hertz has been shown to resonate more with nature itself. It might resonate more with water or the heartbeat of the earth, And it's been shown when you play 432 hertz as opposed to 440 hertz, you'll be more relaxed. Your blood pressure will go down and your heart rate will go down. And that that's really good for you to relax. And I think that's also a reason that depression is eased by music because you'll just feel more relaxed. Also, there have been a lot of like reports from like nurses, and we love our nurses. They have like crazy stressful jobs, but a nurse said that she was relaxed after playing an instrument. All right, so why does any of this matter? I think music is fundamental to all of us and just great for our mood, great for our like cognitive health and well-being. And so what I think needs to be done is more research should go into music. Although these studies were really great, there was some gray areas with like smaller sample sizes or with fMRI machines, for example. You can't really put someone in it and have like their crazy violin in there or like a whole piano. And so it's kind of harder to research. And what I found too is our brains are being more actively used when you're playing to your full potential, when you're challenging yourself and kind of having hard songs. So I think we would get a lot more like prevalent results if we had more like better research. And I think with better research, we should take it to institutions and organizations and schools and governments and just bring more music into the community. I think I'm pretty lucky because I grew up with B. Frank Foundation and San Juan Symphony, which gave me like scholarships and stuff, but not everyone has the money or time to play music. So I think bringing more funding into like music programs would be great. And let's get more music into schools. You guys should play music. Even though it seems hard, there is some funding and scholarships to get your hand on an instrument, or maybe you could borrow like an instrument from a friend or something, or just like get yourself involved. Go sing in the shower. If you get an instrument, use guitar tabs or resources online, because I think it's a great power that anyone can do. It's been around historically for a long, long time, and I think it's just kind of in our blood to play music. It's been around 40,000 years. So you guys can play music. And if you don't play music, this is a man that doesn't appreciate music. You should not dance like that. So if you don't play music, you're gonna end up like him, and you're gonna dance weird. Thank you guys so much.
All right, thank you, Alondra.